So we start with the May, then we get advanced. The questions are the same. Now, August 2023, hiyo ni kama nimefikia nimefanya swali kumbe sijafanya. Now August 2023, question number 4B. I want to read first. For August, kumbe utafanya ya email kwanza. We are reading for email first. Now, let me just read it. Mass Boltras manufacture and sells 4 products. The details of the 4 products and the relevant information are given below. So we have the product, output, machine hours per unit, production run, requisition raised, orders executed. Cost per unit, we have direct material, direct labor, their cost. The current production of it are absorbed on a conventional machine hours basis, although the management is proposing adopting ABC. So the current production overhead are absorbed based on machine hours. So the keyword there is the word machine hours basis. Now, information number 2, production overhead for the period has been provided as follows. So you have the items together hapo. Required to compute the budgeted units and total cost using conventional technique. So we start with number part A. Part A, conventional costing statement. Statements, we have 3 products or 4. A01, B02, C03, and D04. So we have 3 products. So A01, B02, C03, D04. So remember, I'm saying we are starting with the conventional costing. Now the one that's per unit and in total. Now we shall start with per unit, then later per total. So we start with the direct material. Direct material. So tuanze. For the first one, the direct material go pale juu 3300 and then 4125. 3300. This one is 3300. That one is 4125. The second one, 2475. 2475. 2475. Then the other one is 4950. Then you also need to add direct labor. Direct labor. And from the question, you can see it clearly. We have 2310, 2310, 2310, 2310, 1980. Remember, that is per unit. Remember, they are per unit. 1980, 1155, 1155, 1155, then 1815. So we are together, we get the prime cost. We shall get prime cost. So if we add them together, we shall get the prime cost. So 1155, 1155, 1815. So 3300 plus 2310. This one is 56. Then 4125 plus 1980. 6105. 2475. 1155. Which is 36. 30. 4950 plus 1815. 67. 55. 57. 65. Now, conventional costing, we need to add the overhead cost according to the basis. So we add overhead cost. But remember, it is on machine. So just say machine hours cost. That's what we are supposed to add. So it is based on machine hours. Then once you do that one, you shall get the total cost per unit. Total cost per unit. Now, our overhead, it is absorbed. So remember, our overheads is absorbed on basis of machine hours. Machine hours, meaning our OAR, overhead absorption rate, which is our overhead absorption rate, will be equal to the total budgeted cost, total budgeted production cost, or overhead. Let's look at overhead. Overhead, supposed to be overhead, over total machine hours, over total machine hours. Reason why? Because it's absorbed on machine hours. Now, what's our total? The production overhead? The production overhead is 26. We'll add those together. So when you add all those cost drivers or the cost element together, umetupatia 26 million. Umetupatia 26 million. Umetupatia 26 million. So our OAR itakuwa ni our total, which is 26 million. Now we need to divide it with the total machine hours. So let's calculate the total machine hours for each item. So ya kwanza, now tunapata machine hours per unit. Can you see it? 4 hours per unit. How many do we have? We have 1200. Itakuwa 1200 times 4. 1200 times 4 plus B02. How many hours per unit? Is 5 hours. Not 5. 3 hours per unit. One goes. The total hour units is 3000. It's 1000. I mean, 21,000 units. But hours per unit is 3. Hours per unit is 3. Tuende kwa C3. For C3, if you can check, 2 hours, and total hours is 800. The total units is 800, but 1 hour per unit. Then to the last one. The last one, how many hours per unit? The hours per unit is 3 hours and 1200 units. So 1200 times 3. So what will be our OAR? To find our OAR, find our OAR. Find our OAR. Itakuwa ni 1200 times 4 plus 1000 times 3, 800 times 2, 1200 times 3. That is 13,000. So 26 million. Where by answer? That is 2,000 Kenya shillings, 2,000 per hour. Kenya shillings, 2,000 per hour. Kenya shillings, 2,000 per hour. Now let's start for A01. A01. Itakuwa 2,000 per hour. Itakuwa ni Kenya shillings 2,000 per hour. How many hours do we have? We have 4 per unit. So that we know how many units cost per unit. Itakuwa ni 8,000. It's going to be equal to 8,000. Is that one correct? Is that one correct? Yes. Is that one correct? Iko sawa. B02. So Kenya shillings 2,000 per hour. But per unit, it is 3 hours. 3 hours. So how much is the cost per unit? So 2,000 times 3. So cost per unit. It will sit CO3 the same 2,000. So naandika to direct. Now times 2, which is 4,000. So you know what I'm doing. And then D04 2,000. Now hours per unit 3. So cost per unit 6,000. 6,000. That will give you the total. So 5610 plus 80,000. So is 13. 610. Then 6105 plus 6,000. 12. 015. 105, not 015. 3630 plus 4,000. Then 76. 30. Then 67. 65 plus 6,000. 12. 765. 765. So that's how you are supposed to do for the first one. That one is what we call convectional costing. You can go to the second one. ABC system. Now you shall allow me to rub. You shall allow me to rub that part. You shall allow me. You shall allow me to rub this part. So in the rub kutoka overhead cost, kuteremka chini. The rest will remain the same for ABC. So the prime cost will remain the same. So the prime cost will remain the same. Now, I hope umeandika. Kama hujaandika, you can screenshot. You can screenshot, then we move forward. Now I'm going to rub it, so I'm rubbing it. So kama hujaandika, make sure you are following on what we are doing, so that nikivuta uko umeandika, so that you can do it in your when you're doing division. Now sorry, before nivute, you also need to find the full cost. So kwa sababu tuambia cost per unit na total units na total cost. So they wanted us to find also total cost. So let us do the total cost now. So total cost ifanye tu hapo chini yake, so inanga shida. Now what you do, unaandika units, and then total cost. Total cost. Yakupatia your answers. Unirivuta. Let me check again. So we had 1,200, 1,000. So 2 times 1,200 times 1,000 times 800 kasi jakosea. And then 1200 times 800 times 800 times 1200. I think that one is the correct format. So tuanze na ya kwanza, so multiply 13,610 times 1200, which is 16,332,000. 12,105 times 1,000 itakuwa ni 12,105,000. Then 7630 times 800, 6,104,000, and then ya mwisho 12,765 times 1200, which is 15,318,000. And that's all about the total cost of the conventional costing. That's all about the total cost. Now let's go to part B. Let's go to part B for ABC. Let's go to part B for ABC system. So ABC or ABB, activity-based budgeting. Now, whatever you want to call it, that is on you. So activity cost, budgeting. So activity-based costing. So activity-based budgeting statement, cost statement per unit. Now we say tutarab kila kitu now. Tutarab from the prime cost kurudi chini. Now we add the cost drivers, the cost elements. So we add other costs. So we add other costs. We add other costs. Now we add the cost driver, in short. So add our cost drivers. Now, number one, nikiangalia kwa hiyo swali, nikiangalia kwa swali tunaona ya kwanza, machine cost center, machinery cost center. We have machinery cost center. You need to find that one. Number two, setup cost. We have setup. Just a minute. Setup cost. You also need to add setup cost. You also need to add store receiving cost. Store receiving cost. Store receiving cost. Maana you have inspection cost. Unaleta majina na gani? You have inspection cost, material handling cost. Tukishafanya hizo, then we can get the cost. Material handling cost. Let us call it handling cost. Handling cost. So that when we kimaliza, we can get the total cost. per unit. So remember, you're computing it per unit. Now let us start with the first one, the machine center cost. Machinery cost center. Now, what is our overhead from that center? So how much is the cost? Hata mnanisaidia bana. Narudi kwa swali sana na mko hapo. Mlikuwa mkisema 10 for 30,000. So we have 10 for 30,000. Now what's the cost driver for this machining? Now the cost driver for this machining is the total number of hours. Total number of hours. Now total number of hours, itabidi tumecalculate tena. Total number of hours, itabidi tumetafuta tena. Ningejua singevuta. Tuko na 4 hours, nina 1200, 1300, 2 na 800. Na mwingine 3 na 1200. 3 na 1200. So tunakuja tuweke hapa. Tuseme 1200 times 4. Haya 3 kama 1000 times 3. Tena na machine hours 800 times 2. 800 times 2. And then 1200 times 3. Now find the OAR for machine center. The operation rate for the machinery cost center. So itakuwa ni tutasema ni 1200 times 4, 1000 times 3, 800 times 2, 1200 times 3. Kenya shillings 13,000. Na A01 kwa ni 13,000. Times 4. Now 13,000 times 4 itakuwaje hiyo? Yes, najaribu kuangalia hiyo. Nimesema ni 1200 times 4. So hiyo tukidivide itakuwa ni OAR per unit. Ngoja. Hiyo ni units, hiyo ni cost.
Divide by 1200.
Divided by
1200.
Divided by
1200.
Yes, that will make sense. Itakuwa ni 13,000 times 4 divided by 1200. Nakuja ngapi? 13,000 times 4 divided by 1200. Napata 43. Unaonaje? 43. Mimi napata my figure as 43.
Yes, because 43.33.
43.33.
It's only 43 in all number.
Oh. Now ukidivide hii amount leo figure ya kupea 13,000. Yes.
13 I think ulikosea kidogo eh?
Mm. Ten for 30,000. Very by answer. Never quite 82. Serious.
Ni 802.3031.
Yes. 802.31. So hapa tunasema ni 802.31. Now we want cost per unit. Now times 4. Itakuwa hivyo kweli? Mnisaidia hapo?
Ni
Itakuwa hivyo
lazima
sivyo?
tudivide.
Hatuwezi divide kwa sababu
Mm.
hii ni cost per unit. And hii hapa tumesha divide hapa. So tukivide hapa tutakuwa na divide double. So siwezi kama divide mara mbili. Itakuwa ni 82.31 times 4. Tukipata 32.09. Tukidivide mara mbili itakuwa na divide double. That one is not recommended. So huwezi divide hapa, tena kuja divide hapa, utakuwa umefanya double entry. So 3209.24. Haya. Let's go to the other one. Now, there's no way to divide kwa sababu wetu tumeweka hapa units. Kama tulikuwa tumeweka, na wasema tulikuwa tumeweka kumaanisha ingebidi to divide. Lakini already tumesha divide hapa, tunaachana nayo. Tena kwa B03, B02 itakuwa ni 802.31 times 3. So times 3 napatia 2406.93. 2406.93. Wacha niweke laini hapa. Ndio tuone kile tunafanya. Nero niweke laini hapo ndio nisipotee. So kwenye usile lazima muweke. Kwangu naweka. So machine costing, ujue ni machine costing center. Na tunasema hii ni 20, hii ni 3209.24. Tena kwa C03 802.31 times 2 times 2, which is 1604.62 to 1602.62 to 1604. 462, and then at this 03 ni 802.31 multiplied by 3, which is 2406.93. 2406.93. Tumemalizana machining cost. Tumemalizana machining cost. Tumemalizana machining cost. Tumemalizana machining cost. Tumemalizana next, which is what? The next item ni gani? Setup cost. Setup cost. I think yanatoshea hapa. Setup cost. Let us find the OAR. Let us find the OAR for setup cost. Let us find the OAR. And we know that the cost is 5250. 5250. 5250,000 Now, what is the cost driver for setup cost? So the setup cost for cost driver are the number of production run. So number of production run, let us add them together. Number of production run, 6 plus 5 plus 4 plus 6. How do we total? As 21. What did I measure total? As 21. Let us see the cost per run. Cost per run, 50,000. Divided by 21. So to 50,000 per run. Kenya shillings to 50,000 per run. So per run. Now we can find the cost per unit for each. So 6546. 6546. Ndio itupatie that one. Let's see. Tuanze na A01. A01 kama inaonekana hapo or the right ina karibu. I think it can be seen. Hiyo yangu sio mbaya, sasa nimeamua kuchukua hiyo kutumia hiyo light. Tabia ile ina mambo. Let us see. Now one run. So cost per run into 50,000. How many run do we have for the first one? We have the 6 run. We have 6. We have the run is 6 for 801. Now, but that one is for the total amount for the 6 run. But we need for per unit. So we need per unit. So we divide by the number of units. So now number of units is 1200. So how much is that? So it's going to 50,000 times 6. To 50. I calculate down to 50,000 times 6 divided by 1200. So about 1250. 1250 per unit. Kenya shillings. 1250 per unit. 1250. 50 per unit. Go to B02 to 50,000. Number of runs, the 5. Number of units, so I can get cost per unit, 1,000. According to 50,000. 50,000 times 5 divided by 1,000. Hii maajabu. Hata about 1250. I'm getting the same answer. 1250. C03 to 50,000. Number of run. So in cost per run. But we have for run. We divided by the total number of units, which is 800. To 50,000 times 4 divided by 800. Allah. 1250. 1250. Then my job. D04. Cost per run to 50,000. How many runs? 6. Divided by the number of units, 1200. According to 50,000 times 6 divided by 1200. Now 1250. Now 1250. So give me about 1250. Cost per run. So is everyone getting?
Yes.
Oh, so. Now we move forward. After that one, we need to go to store receiving cost. Store receiving cost. So allow me to delete this one for machine cost center. Allow me to delete that one for machine cost center. This one. Aha. Nenda tu polepole mpaka tufike. So you need to find the OAR for machine cost center. So tuko kwa receiving cost. Store receiving cost. Now, what's the total cost for the store?
600,000.
Yes, that's 600,000. Now we divide the what's the cost driver? Our cost driver or the store.
80.
So requisition is per unit capital total the 80.
80.
So then 2020 napatia 80. Now let us see the cost per requisition. So that is 600, 1, 2, 3,
45,000.
45,000.
Yeah.
Per requisition raised. Now let us find what is one. Now the cost per requisition is 45,000. Now, how many requisitions do we have for A? We're gonna 20. We divide the number of units, which is 1,200. Then we can get cost per unit. 45,000 times 20 divided by 1,200. This one is 750. The cost per unit here is 750. Aya. B02 itakuwa ni 45,000 times 20. Number of requisition ni 20. Cost per unit wanatuambia ni 1,000. So 45,000 times 20 divided by 1,000, which is 900. 900. C03. We have 45,000. The bottom is the total cost per requisition. So for one requisition is 45,000. We have 20 requisition. Then divide by 800. Divide it with 800. Itakuwa ngapi? Na hii imetoka kwa laini. Utaiwekea hapo. So 45,000 times 20 divided by 800. 1125. 1125. Tumalizia mwisho. D04. Cost per requisition 45,000. How many requisitions do we have? 20. Number of units 1,200. Cost 750 same. That one will be the same. That one will be the same. Inspection cost. Inspection cost. Inspection cost. Now, let us see the cost by inspection cost is 2,100. So the total cost, so we need to find the OAR. So we see the OAR itakuwa ni 21,100,000. We divide the two number of inspection. So total
So number of inspection in a production run. So number of inspection in a production run. The number of inspection in a production run. So let us see. So 21, 0, 0, 1, 2, 3 divided by 21, which is 100,000. 100,000. Let us try and calculate for A01.
500.
500.
Mm.
Let us do for 1. So A01. A01 itakuwa ni 1,000, 100,000. Multiply the number of runs, which is 6. Then we divide by the units, is 100. So 100,000 times 6. If you calculate the rest, we still give you 500. That one is okay. Now tumalizia mwisho 100 cost. So malizia hizo zingine. So malizia hizi 500, 500, 500. Do the working. Make sure you get the 500. Now let's go to 100 cost. Nitavuta tu hapa chini still. Nitavuta hapa chini. So let's go to 100 cost. Malizia na 100 cost. 100 cost. Now for 100 cost, 100 cost, the cost is 46,20,000. 46,20,000. Now hiyo inaenda nini?
Inaenda the order executed goes with order executed.
So what's the total number of order executed? So order executed is 42. So 46,20,000 divided by 42, which is Kenya shillings 110,000 per order executed. Per order executed.
Now tumalizie
11 for A01. A01. Cost per
Zote ni
order.
1,100.
Yote let's tujaribu ya kwanza na ya pili maybe. So 1,000 times 12. We divide with the total cost. Total units 1,200. Masema zote unapata ngapi?
1,100. 1,100.
1,100. So zote ukifanya itakupatia 1,100. So huyu anasema tukifanya zote inatupatia 1,100. Now do for the rest. So that is your assignment for the rest. Now let us do for B02. Then you call it 110,000 times 10. We divide it to 1,000. Itapatia yes. So 110,000 times 10 divided by 1,000, which is 1,100. Now that is all about it. So that is all about the ABC. Now you find to get the cost per unit for. So tunaanzia kufua hapo kwa prime cost. You add the rest. So for prime cost 56.10. Now we add 209.24. We add 150. We add 750. We add 500. And then we add 700. This one is 12,419.24. I don't know when I get 6105. We add 2406.93, 1250, 900, 500, 11, 0, 12, 261.99. Then that's 630 plus 1604.62 plus 1250 plus 1125.
9234, 9234, 6.62.
92.62. Mwisho 67, 65, 2406.93, 1250, 7 Finje, 500, 1100, 12, 771.93. Now, you can also find the full cost. So the full cost, you multiply it with the number of units. So the full cost, you multiply with the number of the units. Multiply with the number of units. You multiply with the number of units. Now units, so times 1200 times 1000 times 800 and times 1200. Now let's do another question for advanced level now. That is all for intermediate. The rest of final revision. So multiply, you get the total cost. Total cost. So for example, 12,419, 12,419.24 times 1200. This one is equal to 14,903,088. I will get 261.99 times 1000, which is 261.90. Now I multiply my zeros zingine. So that one marks the end of ABC in intermediate. Now let us do another ABC in advanced level. Let us do another ABC in advanced level. In advanced level. In advanced level. In advanced level. Now, when you mnafanya intermediate, the question is for December 2022. When you mnafanya intermediate, this question is for December 2, question 3A. This question was tested in advance in MA, so this one is for MA. The same question was tested in advance MA. Advance MA, December 2005. So those are two questions which are the same. So one intermediate in MA. So those who did MA December 2002 did the same question that was tested in advance MA December 2005. 2005. 2005. So those who did that's the difference. So those who did MA in December 2022 is the same question that was done in advance MA December 2005. Now, kama una paper ya advance MA, utaangalia, you shall confirm later. Let us use for intermediate December 2022. So open December 2022 for your MA. December 2022 for MA. Because you have the MA paper already hapo. You can use it direct. You can use it direct the way it is. You can use it direct the way it is. The way it is. The way it is. So open December 2022.
December 2022. What do you mean? December 2022, question number 3A. 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 Someone to read for us. Someone to read for us. Aya, those doing advanced MA, the same question also repeated. It's a copy paste. Now, those doing advanced MA, this question tunataka kufanya was also repeated in December 2023. Now, this question was also tested in advanced MA, the same question, December 2023. December 2023, I think it's the same question. I think it's a copy paste. It's a copy paste in advance. The same question was tested in December 2023, question number 3B. Hebu fungua, mniambie kama the same. So open that question, then you tell me if those questions are the same. The one for intermediate, December 2022, question 3A. That's the one for advanced MA, December 2023. You tell me if those two questions are similar. Tell me if those two questions are similar. Now, before we do that question,
Ibra,
yes,
Ibra.
yes.
Oh, nilikuwa uliza. Oh, nimeelewa.
Umeelewa?
Tuende.
Yes, already tumesha divide hapa na units. So there's no need for you to divide again. So tumesema, when you talk about ABC or ABB, we take the direct material, we add the direct labor, we get the prime cost. Then we add the other costs which are affected by the cost driver. The first one is machine costing, ndio hiyo 102,000. Ametabia inaenda na machine hours. So we divide the total machine hours. Tunachukua for X or for T, depending on the question, a half a unit, half an hour. So 12,000, T requires half an hour per unit, but you have 12,000 units. So now multiply 12,000 times a half. For Y, I require 1 hour per unit. How many units do we have? 16,000. You multiply. Then require 1.5 hours per unit. So you multiply with the total units, 8,000. Apply 3 hours per unit. Now we need cost per unit. Now this is the cost per hour, but we need cost per unit. So ya kwanza, unachukua 3 hours, you multiply with hours per unit. Ndio hapa. So half an hour per unit. So 3 times hiyo. Ukienda kwa Q or Y, itakuwa ni 3 times 1 times 1, which is 3. Ukienda kwa M or Z, depending on the question, times 1.5. So 3 times 1.5. So 3 times 1.5. 4.5. Now that is 4.5. Number P, tunaenda kwa production scheduling. Production scheduling. Now, what's the cost for production scheduling? Now, the cost for production scheduling is 84,000. 84.
84,000.
84,000. Now, then the scheduling. The number of production run. Number of production run pale chini ndaje pale chini. Number of production run iko wapi? 6, 16, 18.
6, 16, 8. 6, 6 plus 16 plus 8. Tunapata 6 plus 16 plus 8. Tunapata 2,000 Kenya shillings. Tunapata Kenya shillings 2,800 per run. Yes. Mute. Tunapata 2,800 per run. Tuanze na T or X. Now we want cost per unit for each run. Cost per unit each run. Now, cost per run is 2,800. How many runs do we have? So we have 6 runs. Then you divide with total units so that you can get cost per unit. So that you can get